Are there other ways to control pests and disease than just killing them, than just eradicating them, than waging war at them? At Soilcraft, we believe so. We're in a field of hops. We're going to come show you a little bit about how we manage pests and disease through nutrition. Building healthy soils, which feed the plant. Healthy plants resist pests and diseases. Come take a look. We know that we can help reduce or eliminate pests and diseases in your crops by creating healthy soils and healthy plants. Stick around to the end and we'll show you how we do just that. Let's go.
So in this field where we're trying to manage things without using things that cause MRLs, maximum residue levels of certain pesticides that we can't have if we export these hops, I came out here and scouted and we had mites. And they're not bad, but they're there. So we want to prevent them before they get worse. So typically what we found through our experience with using cytoplasmic fluid analysis like sap analysis, mites like nitrogenous compounds and they like certain types of salts, specifically chloride is one of the culprits. So sure enough, we have excess of those things and we come in and we apply one of our products called Vigor Carb, which is a carbon-based supplement that helps the plant deal with those particular salts. We apply things like phosphorus, specifically in foliar application because phosphorus also helps antagonize things like chloride, and as well as other types of micronutrients like molybdenum to help complex the nitrogen that's in the plant that's also feeding that sap. And what we want to do is we want to change the profile of the sap fluid itself because that's what the mites are feeding off of. And if we do that, we reduce their feeding, we reduce what their food source is, and they go away. And that's exactly what we did in this field, and we have a lot less pressure than neighboring fields that we can go look at and show you how bad the mite pressure really is in this hot, stressful environment.
That's awesome. Okay, so for example, downy mildew. You know, there are a number of crops that can get downy mildew. Not always the biggest problem in hops, but certainly they can. But what do we know about downy mildew? We know any simple mildew is going to be, it's a fungal infection that's usually a result of, you know, a weak cellular wall. Allows that to penetrate, it grows on the surface of the leaf. You know, it's gonna, the plant, that generally speaking, the plant's gonna have low bricks. You know, so those plant sugars in there are gonna be simple and basic, which those fungi like to feed on. And so, I mean, simple strategies are, we know we have to prioritize, you know, usually NPK, we talk about NPK, but it means we got to put other things in the front and center. Things like calcium for growth because that creates strong cell walls. Things like silica because it helps create that barrier on the top of the surface of the leaf so that they can't get in and protrude. We also know calcium is responsible for signaling for the plant's immune system. We know when certain pathogens or insects feed on the leaf, then the plant can send a signal through the plant throughout the entire plant for plant defense. And if there's not enough calcium in that plant, it's going to have a hard time with it. There are some other things that we control. We can use molybdenum, which not only does it control certain pathogens as an actual surface contact, but then that plant takes it up and it can utilize molybdenum for the nitrate reductase enzyme, things like nickel, things like these trace elements that are important. But of course, these things, you know, they're very powerful. And that's why we utilize sap analysis, plant cytosol extract, so that we can look at those balances and ask the question first, like, do we have enough? Because maybe we do have enough, and so we don't want to go spend money we don't need to spend. So precise nutrition, looking at things like calcium, silica, molybdenum, some of those things that maybe we don't think about as often or don't put in the forefront, and then using things like biostimulants to help reduce plant stress. Making sure we're putting iron and copper where they need to be because they're on the front side of that plant physiology when it comes to responding to oxidative stress that builds up. Things like flavanols, plant flavanols that we use that we know literally turn on certain genes that help for defense. Things like, well, we've got all kinds of essential oil-based products that we use to suppress both on the actual surface, you know, in contact, but then again, bolstering the immune system of the plant. And you might say, wow, that's a lot. That's kind of overwhelming. Well, that's why at Soilcraft we do our best to take all of these things that we know are essential when a plant is struggling with a fungal disease And what do we do for them?
Put them into our own blends.
We put them in a nice, simple as possible blend to go out into the field to say, look, we know that these things need to be at front and center when we're experiencing these things. So we have them packaged so you don't have to worry about putting them all in there. And then we also, but we want to be sure, so we do what? We pull a sap sample. So we look and we're doing our best to say, where are you at in that? And we customize things as well, don't we? So if you need more copper because, you know what, we're looking at the saps, it's being antagonized, it doesn't have it, we'll give you our custom blend and we'll add copper. So we'll use our proprietary product and add in what's needed for your field, for your crop, for your farm at that point in time to supply you with what you need to combat that. And that way, the plant has what it needs to put up a defense against mildew, as an example. But we find oftentimes, look, fungal diseases have they have things in common. The plant conditions, the environmental conditions, the soil conditions that are required for that disease to infect are very similar. So we can treat, even though they're different diseases, so much of the time, the strategy for bolstering the plant or changing the conditions is similar because those organisms require a certain set of parameters to flourish. Hey, thanks for tuning in and watching our content. We really appreciate you and appreciate you watching our videos. Please like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing here. Also, look down in the description down below for our website, link to our Regen Agronomy podcast, and our phone numbers and email, etc. Reach out to us, please, if you want to know more about the content you see here in the videos. Stick along, stay with us. Stick along.
Just wait, stay serious, say it again.
You want to find out how to what?
Stop.
I know, you can start over again. You also have to cut all that.